AFTV.
Yeah.
Bro, you can't.
Yeah.
Come on.
Please, thank you.
You're going to have to leave here.
Good.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
AFTV, Julian. Let's first of all focus, because the focus will be going all over the place at the moment. Let's first of all focus on the game. 1-0 to Arsenal. Important win for Arsenal as regards ensuring Champions League football for next season.
It was really important because I walked into this game thinking it doesn't really mean anything, but I soon realised it did when I got caught up watching West Ham against Nottingham Forest and found myself absolutely riveted because we still weren't guaranteed guaranteed Champions League football, and that is all right. We can't win the league. We knew we couldn't win the league for the last few months, but one thing we have to do is ensure Champions League football to be able to progress to where we all want to be, which is first, not second.
Yeah.
And so it did actually mean something. And when we actually got into the game, you realise, you showed me the league table, and you highlighted to me that if Newcastle had won, they would go above us.
Yeah.
So it actually meant something, and the game was played in a way that it did mean something, and it was a good game of football.
And you know, first half you've got to say it was all Newcastle. Second half all Arsenal.
Well, it depends what your definition of all Arsenal or all Newcastle is. But from a possession perspective, it wasn't all Newcastle. We had the majority of the possession. But like we've done so many times this season, is that possession seems to mean nothing, because the way that we defend, we don't defend. It's completely naive, because every time Newcastle broke, there was one time, and it was probably more than one time, where I could have run forward with the ball, because absolutely no one puts a challenge in, because they're not there. They're up the pitch. It's like they're relying on Saliba speed to kind of get them out of trouble. And to be fair, most of the time Saliba's speed does get them out of trouble, but at times you're relying on wonder saves from Raya. From a goalkeeping perspective, he was excellent, but for once that he didn't actually do that well with, I thought it was two-footed. And he was pretty crap with both feet today in the first half, but when he did mess it up, he got us out of trouble. He showed that he's a great goalkeeper. Yeah. But we should have actually been, and this is being fair to Newcastle, we were lucky to go in at half-time even.
Yeah. And listen, we've got away with it. We've won the game. Important win. Going to finish second. First of all, what would you rate this season out of 10 and why?
Okay, I would give it an 8 out of 10.
An 8?
An 8 out of 10.
That's high. That's high. All right, explain why.
It is a high, and there's two reasons why I'll give it an 8 out of 10, and nothing higher. And I was thinking about a 7.5, but from my idea of maths, you asked for a sort of exactly, and you round it up to an 8. So it was kind of 7.5, but round it up to an 8. First thing is, you look at progress. We did progress in the major competition of the Champions League. We got to the semi-finals, and I think the team we went out to, it will be the team that actually wins it. So that's the first justification of it. Second justification, a lot of people have spoken about it, especially yourself, on these mitigating circumstances. The amount of injuries that Arsenal had, what more can you expect? You're not going to win. You said something that made absolute sense to me. You are not going to win the league with that many injuries. Now, if you're not going to win the league, the next best place is second. So he's not done that bad. But there are, the reason I won't give higher, and if anything, I can justify giving a little bit lower, is some of the reasons why we've lost had nothing to do with the injuries, has nothing to do with the lack of transfers. It has to do with a naive way of defending and the fact that we can have all the possession and we get caught out and we get caught on the break. And it doesn't just happen once. You can say it was unlucky. It happens time and time again. And even you said something I just picked up on, we got away with it. And we did get away with it first half because of the naive defending. So that's why I wouldn't go higher, and there is an argument to go slightly lower.
And in the summer, which we're 1 week away from the summer transfer window, what do we do? What positions do we need to strengthen?
Okay, so the first thing is, and it's not the sexiest thing, is that we have to ensure that the players we want to keep long term, we now down for longer term contracts. Everyone thinks, it's all about signing new players. The first thing is we have the core and this is again something I agree with you on, is that you have the core of a very, very good squad. You've got a lot of cover and a lot of quality cover in most of the positions. So keep and nail down the players. The positions that we are going to need, first of all, we're going to need a reserve goalkeeper, something that Liverpool proved this season. Kelleher came in, and for the time he came in, you could argue that he looked better than Becker. You know, it was brilliant. So you've got to get that position nailed down, and I think you need to get that position nailed down long term as well, because it's no good having players come in and out this season. Again, we got away with it this season because he wasn't called upon, and the one time I saw him, he didn't look that great, which was, I think it was Girona, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He didn't look that great. So again, we got away with that.
So nail down the players, and then give me one player that you'd like to see come in.
Well, I've been watching a bit of Palace. I've been invited to Palace a few times this season, and it's Eze for me. And the reason being, not only is he a great player, but I like a bargain. And you'll argue that he's going to be.
I don't think he'll be a bargain.
He won't. Well, he's going to be expensive, but here's where I see him being valued. So for me, it's about value. He can play a number of positions. He can be, instead of Odegaard, competing with Odegaard. And he can be on the left with Martinelli, he can play on the right. You can play him in a number of positions, so that's where you get the value, that's where you get the deal, is that you can bring him in and he can play a number of positions. So it's like two for the price of one.